He's written 12 books. He's trained and presented to over 20,000 people in 25 countries. And he's a master trainer in NLP. So if you walk out of here tonight and go, I want to buy a house. Thank you very much. We had fun at the end. Excellent. Good evening. How are you all?
Great.
Right. Excellent. It's really good to be here. Actually, I don't do very many of these, and so no, it's so local. So it's great. And do you remember who was here for Frank LeBoeuf 2 weeks ago? Grant. Frank LeBoeuf. Yeah, I was talking to him. He phoned me. He phoned me about 6 o'clock tonight. He phoned me, and he said, "Don't be too good." So I said, "Frank, you were Grant, you were better." and I really enjoyed his presentation because his content was so good. So I've got to match that now. He started with that anecdote about the Sex Pistols. Do you remember? No. Of course, I'm probably not the only person in the room old enough to remember the Sex Pistols. But I'm going to start with a counterpoint to Steve Jones, Joe Strummer. Great influence on me when I was younger. And one of his famous phrases was "no input, no output." He was a voracious reader. He would soak up everything. And I'd like you to give yourself the opportunity to soak up things tonight. Right? I'm going to go through an awful lot of ideas, some of which will be immediately kind of top tips. Oh yeah, I'll use that tomorrow. Other things are just going to grow and develop and come back to you at some other point, like one of those annoying little pop songs that you hear on the radio once and you wake up humming the next morning. Now, I'd like to do a little bit of audience analysis. How many people here have an iPhone? You see the Apple iPhone, people? Okay. And what about Nokia, BlackBerry, the other side? All right. Somebody put both hands up. You can't decide, can you? Both hands up. It's kind of a right brain, left brain thing, right? iPhones is the right brain, people. Are you familiar with the idea of right brain, left brain? Have you heard of this? Okay. Very simply, I'm sure some of you are sort of practicing psychology or something are going to take me up on this, but very simply, you have the left-hand side of the brain, and you have the right-hand side of the brain. And they're very well balanced. The left-hand side looks after the mathematics, the verbal, the logic, the kind of Sudoku, puzzles, Scrabble, that kind of stuff, right? The right-hand side of the brain looks after music, art, poetry, dancing, art, all that kind of creative, emotional things. And we tend to overdevelop this side of it in business, in our education system. And people that are very attached to the left brain sometimes forget the right brain. And likewise, I mean, think of your physics teacher at the school disco. Right? Left brain. Many years ago, I did some work for a research organisation. And they had these absolute top brains, really creative people. One guy, I was honoured to meet him. He invented the triangular tea bag. It's true. I mean, you didn't think of it, did you? No. Right? It took him 30 attempts to pass the driving test. Man was absolute genius, but had trouble getting up to work at the right time in the mornings. He would come in on a Sunday because he thought it was Monday. Right brain, left brain. Now, my fascination started with this many years ago. I've always been in sales. In 1983, continuing the Apple theme, I was one of the first ever Apple Macintosh salespeople in the UK. In fact, one year I won an award for selling the most Apple Macintoshes in a month. It was about 6. That was in 1983. No one ever heard of the computer before. So, the interesting thing about this is not how you sell to people, it's why they buy. And if you sell in your business, and I'm sure many of you do, I'd like you to stop. Right? Because it's not big, it's not clever, and it doesn't work. Because the more you try to sell things to people, the more they resist you. Is that true? Okay? Anybody want to watch? Timeshare? Right? Car? Computer? iPhone? See, the more you try and push something on somebody, the more they resist you. So this is all about pulling. Right? So that's the first principle. Stop selling, help people buy. The second thing is that, and this is one of the very first books I ever read on selling. It was by a guy called Hank Trisler. It was given to me by a sales manager. It's called No Bull Selling. It's probably way out of print now. And I remember the first chapter simply said, people buy on emotion and justify with fact. Buy on emotion, justify with fact. right? Particularly all those kind of impulse buys. You know, you don't tend to buy something, you go in for some batteries, or you go in for something and you come out with something else. Like you go to Tesco's, you go milk and sugar and bread, and you come out with a bunch of DVDs and a new set of golf clubs. You don't even play golf, but you just thought they were on sale. Right? And you go home and your partner says, what did you buy that for? Oh, well, it was in a sale. And I haven't had one of these for ages. Anyway, it's coming useful when we go away. The whole justification thing. That's what goes on in the old internal dialogue. Right? And you have example of Marvel comics. Do you remember Marvel comics? Yeah, you try and tell kids that today, right? Facebook generation. Give them a Marvel comic, they go, what's this, man? Right. Thought bubble, speech bubble. So when you're talking to somebody, what you've got to think about is what's in their thought bubble. What's going on in their thought bubble, right? And that's the fascination. Well, I'm now looking at books. Another influential book, and this is great, I'll give you a treat on this one. You don't have to buy it, because it's so small, you can sit in the bookshop and read it, right? 1 minute salesperson, Ken Blanchard. People don't buy a product or service, they buy how they imagine using it will make them feel. Right? How do right brains that? How they imagine, the image they create, and how they make it feel. Right? And we do this all the time. So that's what you've got to do. You've got to appeal to that sort of thing. So I'm going to go through some top tips and give you some examples of how this works. And I'm going to ask for a bit of participation a little bit later on. Okay? I'm going to ask some people to get involved with me and maybe come up front and help. Right? That's a certain amount of paranoia and fear in the room now. But fear is a good motivator, don't you think?
Very good.
How many times do people buy what you're selling them because of the fear of not doing something? Right? I mean, Terry, right? More fear of paranoia, that's what we need. Okay? I mean, if I was in Terry's job, right, doing security, do you know what I'd do? Pick a nice neighbourhood, hire a couple of hoodlums that got burglars from houses, and do some good.
Right,
Now, I actually didn't think of that. There was a gang in London who did that, and the police got a bit suspicious when they went to investigate a robbery, and they saw all these brand new security boxes down the road. Right? So, anyway, left, right. Now, who's done a bit of NLP? Okay. Watch out, these folks are dangerous. NLP, when I started learning about NLP, no one had ever heard of it. Right? It was kind of like 91, 92. I went on this seminar with John Grinder, one of the original founders. There were 17 people in the room. And they were very unusual people, I'd say. Over the years, trained with lots of people. Now, those of you that are into NLP, and even those that haven't, will have come across this particular idea. Sensory input, pretty important, wouldn't you say? You try without it for a while, and you know what I mean, right? So the three things we tend to use most when we're persuading people, which is part of selling, is words, voice tone, and body language. There are a couple of others. In fact, I think there's 3. Right? Let's write this up so I don't forget. Words, tone, and visual. There's a kind of a smell one, isn't there? Right? And there's a taste, olfactory. Right? Yeah. Are they important? Well, the only 2, by the way, is particularly smell, but it's not filtered by the brain. All the others are filtered, right? So if someone doesn't smell very nice, you don't want to buy from them. Is that true? But also what happens is people, you know that expression people say, oh yeah, well I just got a bad taste in my mouth about stuff. Right? So that kind of literally what's going on inside their heads. Now, who's done the statistics thing? You must do this, D, right? What are they?
7, 38 and 55.
Wow, it's so cruel. Imagine if D couldn't remember them, right? Actually, no, it's not. 6, 5, and 7, 38, 55. Pretty well accepted breakdown. Now, what I love about this is how do they work out the 7? Right? So, the words we say are reasonably ineffective. Voice tone is more effective, and body language is very important. Now, this is really about how do you make sense of what someone's saying. And there's a great word called incongruence. And incongruence